You guys, it is time. It is the moment you've all, and by all I mean just me, all been waiting for. It is time for my Mockingjay rant, and don't worry, I brought reinforcements. Now, before we get into this beautiful board here, I have to preface this by saying there will be spoilers in this rant video. I can't rant about the book and also not give you spoilers. So if you have not read the book or seen the movies and you don't want to be spoiled, I implore you to leave. Do not watch this video because I will not be holding anything back. So it's okay to leave. It's okay to leave. Take your leave. Take your leave now. But if you haven't read the book or watched the movies and you don't care about spoilers, feel free to stay. Feel free to stay. And then if you have, of course, seen the movies and watched and read the books, or have not seen the movies and have read the books, well then, stay. Please stay. Please stay. You are welcomed. Please stay. But without further ado, let's get back to the board. All right, let me scooch on over here so you get the full impact of my board. Okay, so what we're going over and what my rant is completely about is the last book, which is Mockingjay. Because the first two books, they're good, they're fine. But Mockingjay is what I have an issue with, okay? So, premise of the book here, we picked up where we kind of left off in Catching Fire, which Peeta is with the Capitol. He's been taken, and Katniss is with the Rebellion, along with Finnick. And my biggest issue, I think, with here, like where we are here, is that this is the final book. This is where the war is happening. This is the nitty-gritty. We're supposed to be in wartime. This is the fighting. This is where all of the war times is supposed to happen. This is the action-packed section of the entire trilogy. It's supposed to be, which it's kind of funny because, you know, for this dystopian book series as a whole, you know, you have a lot of fighting in and itself with the kiddos, which I hate saying that, because, you know, the whole storyline in and itself is atrocious, with kids fighting and killing kids, but that is essentially the storyline of the Hunger Games. But, you know, with that being said, the Rebellion versus Capitol is supposed to be the most action-packed section, considering, you know, there's already been some action within the Hunger Games and Catching Fire. I'm fiending for some action, even though we've already gotten some action within Hunger Games and Catching Fire. But I digress. So we're here with Mockingjay. My biggest issues really fall on Katniss, which is why she's the biggest portion of my board. Katniss, she is not the rebellion leader, but she is forced into kind of this position of being the figurehead in a way. People see her as kind of this standoff point for where the rebellion kind of took off. So she is the face of the rebellion, not so much the leader of the rebellion, just the face of it. But because she's the face of it, people really take what she says at face value, even though she is a youth. She is a youth. She is a child. She's a child. I looked it up. She's at the beginning of Mockingjay, she is 17. She's 17, and by the end of this book, she is 18 years old. 17 to 18 years old within the time span of the beginning of Mockingjay to the end of the Rebellion of Mockingjay. Now, that's why I have to give Katniss some grace, some, but it doesn't help with everyone else. Everyone else who puts so much on what Katniss says. Because everyone else should understand that Katniss is this age. Everyone else should know she is this youth. She is this youth. Yes, she has been through a lot, and yes, you know, that can like mature you in a way. But she's still, at the end of the day, 17 to 18 years old. Okay? But anyways, moving on to that. Moving on from that. So, Katniss is kind of got some power within the rebellion because she is the face. She's the face of the rebellion. So she has some power in that, and so she uses this power to try to get Peeta, because Peeta is her trauma bond mate. Okay. She doesn't really know how she feels about Peeta, but she knows that she needs him. And since he's with the Capitol, she needs to get him out. So she leverages her power within the rebellion as being the face of the rebellion itself, as just getting Peeta out of the Capitol. Now, while doing this, trying to leverage his power and getting Peeta out, she has been doing things within the rebellion, helping with like basically like little advertisements to push the message of the rebellion, trying to garner more power within the district so they can band together against the Capitol, which is all fine and dandy. But the pacing of the book in itself is kind of slow for something that is supposed to be kind of like action-packed. I know. It's a war. There's a lot of strategy, but I wanted more action. And there was just so much strategy and not a lot of action being done. And then when it comes to the action that was being done, I didn't love the stance that Katniss was taking. For some things, like I did love, like when, and this is where spoilers are coming in, so again, if you guys have not left, you know who I'm talking about. This is their time to leave. When the Capitol drops bombs on the hospital of all these poor people in the district. I don't remember which district. It's been a minute since I read the book, but they drop bombs on these poor people that are already injured and struggling to survive, and the District 13 was just helping them out. And Katniss was infuriated with this hurting of people who are already down, and she, does this like speech, and they catch this on camera. The rebellion catches this on camera and then puts this out for, to further emphasize that the rebellion is here for the people and trying to help, and how the Capitol is basically villains and everything else. Snow is a horrible human, which I still stand by that. I don't know how we got a book for Snow. I didn't want that. That's a side note, slight tangent. I'm sorry, but I hate that man to my very core. Anyways, but so yeah, we had those moments where it was like a very powerful message, but then we had other moments where Katniss is in a place, I think it's District 2, I believe, and it's kind of like a mirror type of situation where they are put in this position to bomb like a mining kind of area, and her district being District 12, which her father died in the mines, and her being kind of complacent in doing that to, families and people of District 2 to further the rebellion really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, this is not Katniss. This is not her character. And I was like, what direction are we taking for Katniss? I didn't love it, and I just didn't feel like it made sense for her character, for someone who's so much for the people, to even consider that and not kind of riot, even for District 2 people who are historically for the Capitol, to not even try to help those people or even be completely against putting them in that situation to where it would be like a mirror situation with her own father who died in the mines, and then putting District 2 people where they also die in a mine type situation. It irked me. It irked me. So Katniss started going downhill immensely from that time forward. So that mining situation, explosion, and it was from then on that you kind of realize that the rebellion is not really like all that different from the Capitol themselves. So rebellion, and that is supposed to be an and sign. I'm so sorry, guys. Capitol, same. So she goes downhill pretty quickly from here. So then, I'm gonna change colors, guys. So then, actually, we'll change colors after we talk about Katniss. So then we have Peeta. We're gonna bring in Peeta here. Peeta, we save Peeta, and Peeta has been brought into the rebellion at Katniss' behest. Like I said, she leverages her power to rescue Peeta. And once we rescue Peeta, we realize, hey, Mance has been brainwashed. He goes in, strangles her. He goes in to strangle her. And I was like, okay, what a fun switch up for Peeta, because he has been just so loyal and to a fault, loyal to a fault. That man has been through the ringer, but he has never been against Katniss. Katniss has doubted him multiple times, but he has always held true to Katniss. So seeing this switch up for his character was kind of like a breath of fresh air, even though it's not what you want to see for Peeta, because Peeta's like a sweetheart. But I loved this switch up for his character. However, Katniss, it really made me dislike Katniss once again, because like I said, Peeta has been true. He has been there through thick and thin, has helped her through everything, has been, he's been there. And it took nothing for her to just basically give up on him. And when I say nothing, yes, I know he strangled her, yeah. But he's brainwashed. It's not like he did that of his own volition, okay? So she realizes that he's brainwashed. And from that moment, as soon as she realizes that he's brainwashed, she's like, I can't be here. Send me somewhere else. Like, I can't do this. And I said, what do you mean you can't do this? You can't handle this? You don't want to, try to figure something out to, get his, mind back? And then as soon as, he starts getting some memories back, and she's, so kind of emo about it. She's like, oh my gosh, he's discovering who I really am. He doesn't want anything to do with me. I was like, shut up. He's always known who you are. Get over yourself. He's loved you anyways, besides the fact that you're you. Okay, chill. So I really started hating Katniss after this point, because I was like, okay, not only is she complacent with this mining accident that really reflects, her own father's death, but then she's also giving up on Peeta completely as soon as he doesn't show her his love and devotion because he's been brainwashed. She's like, all right, I'm gone. I'm gone. It's quite literally conditional love. Not unconditional, conditional love. Because as soon as his love, his devotion, gone, she's gone too. So I was like, all right, Katniss, bye. Um, and so, yeah, there we go for that. That's where Katniss is really killing me on this one. And then we're moving on. We're moving on kind of from Katniss. So we're gonna change colors here. All right, so moving on to we're gonna move on to the senseless deaths here. Okay, so this actually kind of still aligns with Katniss, but you know, we had to move on kind of from Katniss. So moving on, they have all of like the people that they still have that are still alive, that are the winners of the previous games. So the people that are still like the people who managed to survive the games of 4, but also managed to survive, you know, districts or capital pushback after what happened in Catching Fire. They have this group of people, and they're supposed to be making like little advertisements for the rebellion, whatever, what have you. But after like their crew leader dies, Katniss decides upon herself that she wants to really kill Snow. And I mean, fair. That's fair. Like I said, Snow is the absolute worst human. So, I mean, fair, like I said. But she's like, she was put in command of this unit. And again, this is what brings me back to she's 17 to 18 years old. Their like command leader who dies puts her in command of their unit, and I don't like I'm at a loss again because she's so young. But puts her in command of the unit, and then them as a grouping, who again I think she's like the youngest of their group. She's like, I was sent on a secret mission to kill Snow. And even like the commander who just died, his like second command is like, that seems suspicious. I think you're lying. And she's like, no, it's right. And then everyone else is backing her up, and so the second command is like, okay, I guess, sure. And I'm like, she's, I don't know, maybe 18 by this point. Why are we listening to the 18-year-old? Why are we listening to the 18-year-old? I'm at a loss. So anyways, they go on this mission, this secret mission that Katniss has decided that they're all gonna go on to kill Snow. Because she wants to kill Snow. She wants to kill Snow. That's what she needs to do. And so they go on this mission, this senseless mission. And you know what happens? They all die. They all die on this stupid mission that didn't exist. It was just Katniss was like, yeah, I'm on this secret mission. They all die. For literally no reason, because even by the end of this mission, which again, they all die except for Peeta and Gale, they don't even get close to Snow. After this stupid secret mission that doesn't exist to kill Snow, she doesn't even, not even Peeta or Gale, get close to Snow. And in fact, you know who captures Snow? The rebellion. The rebellion catches Snow. If she would have just not said, hey, we have this secret mission to kill Snow, they probably all would have survived. They all would have probably been alive. And it really sucks because I love Finnick, and he was one of the ones that died because of this stupid secret mission. He just got married. Oh, it still hurts. But you know, I don't think I can forgive Katniss for that stupid secret mission either. So yeah, Katniss had so many, like strike one, the stupid thing. Strike two, Peeta. Strike three, senseless death. Literally, she's out. I was like, what are we doing, Katniss? What are we doing? So Katniss was literally, that's why her name is the largest on this stupid board, is because she was the worst. She was making all of the decisions and I was like, why? She's a child. But anyways, so we had all of these stupid senseless deaths that made no sense. The action that was happening, again, were mainly these senseless deaths. And I felt like that was just because there was lacking action from the rebellion that was happening. There was not a lot of for a war that was supposed to be happening. There was no war that was going on. There was like a few bombs here, a few bombs there, here a bomb, there a bomb, you know? Like there wasn't really much action happening. It was all kind of dragging along. And then let's get to Miss Prue.
You're probably asking who the heck is Prue, and that is a fair question. Well, guys, I am ashamed to say that I meant to say Prim, as in Primrose Everdeen, the sister herself that set everything in motion. I am ashamed at my blunder, but I will catch it later on in the video, so you guys will just have to sit back and enjoy my mistake.
The Prue debacle, as I like to call it. I don't know where to start on that one. Prue's death felt like, I don't know, nearly lazy writing to me, lazy plotting. I don't know if you wanted it to be like poetic, but if she was older, maybe it would have made more sense to me. But Prue's death made no sense because she was 13. She was 13 years old, okay? 13 years. She is 13 years old. Why was she in the thick of things? Boots on the ground. Why was she in the capital? Like, I know she said, oh, I want to be a doctor one day. I want to be a doctor one day. I've been, working with mom, all of this time. Honey, that's great. I love that for you. You're 13. I don't, you can be working with your mom, helping, creating salves, whatever, bandaging up, whatever, giving out medications. But at the end of the day, you're still 13. How much could you know and retain? Your brain is still forming. Your brain doesn't actually fully form until you're 25. So, your brain, 13? Why was she boots on the ground at 13? I don't understand why she was there. Why was she a medic in the actual war at 13? Tell me why. If anyone should have been in the thick of things, it should have been her mom. That made more sense than Prue being there. Her being in the capital helping out as a medic only makes sense if she is of age. And I was like ranting to my own friends about this because I was like, it just doesn't make any sense. She was 13. Why was she even there? And my friend was like, well, Coin, being like the president of like the rebellion, whatever, probably wanted to like get back at, Katniss or whatever. And I was like, I don't care if Coin had the power to get back at, like, wanted to get back at Katniss for being such like a thorn in her side. Um, do you know the kind of avenues you would have to go through? Like, in the matter of like public opinion, to put a like literal child in the battlefield, like that doesn't make, again, any sense for her to send a literal child, which, again, the whole point of the Hunger Games, the whole point of the Hunger Games was to send children into battle to kill off one another. So to send a child into war really defeats the purpose, the whole thought process of killing the Hunger Games, because they wanted to protect their children. And sending kids into battle is absolutely cruel and just completely illogical, as far as empathy goes. So sending Prue in with, I mean, she had some training with her mom, but still not grown adults. And like, even if she wanted to go, I feel like that's something you would have to ask a parent for, you know? Like, is there not like a parental, like a permission form? Like, I need a permission form to go on a bus somewhere when I was a kid. You don't need a permission form to like go into battle in the middle of a freaking war. Like, what is this? What is this? I don't know. This just, I'm at a loss for words. This just doesn't make any sense to me, except for the author needing like poetic, like some type of poetic, I wouldn't even call it justice. It's not justice. But like, yeah, because like Prim's
Y'all heard me say Prim, right? I told you I would get there.
whole thing, like the whole beginning of the Hunger Games, is Katniss trying to keep Prim alive by volunteering herself for the Hunger Games, which is what started this entire thing. So Prim's death is, yeah, poetic in a way because she still ended up dying, um, which is the whole reason Katniss started this, is to keep Prim. I put Prue. Primrose. Ha! Prim. Prim. Ah, my brain. Prim alive is the whole reason she tried to keep Prim alive. I need to change this to, this is gonna bug me. We're gonna put this Prim. Yep. Primrose Everdeen. But yeah, it's, it bugs me. It bugs me. I don't think I'll ever let this go. This one will never be let go for me. But anyways, yeah, those are the major things for my rant here. The rebellion in itself being, just as bad as the Capitol, because they wanted to put, the Capitol's kids into an actual Hunger Games after everything was said and done, to kind of get back at the Capitol, which that kind of defeated the whole freaking purpose of the whole rebellion versus the Capitol thing, because we were right back where they essentially started. And it was like, what was the whole point? So the rebellion was basically the same as the Capitol, at least the leaders were, which is why Katniss ended up killing Coin, which is the only useful thing that Katniss did in this entire book, in my opinion, because yeah, she was honestly just like something to be used, not really something to, she didn't really do anything except cause death and pain. Like, she was just something to look at, except she, yeah, that's it. As far as the whole Peeta versus Gale debacle, I will say that there was no chance for Gale after he went all into the rebellion. He drank the Kool-Aid. he drank the rebellion Kool-Aid here, and he got all caught up into trying to win the war with the capital, and he forgot his morals. He forgot empathy for the people, because that's what they were at the end of the day. They were people still, and not everyone in the capital were guilty. They were just, brought up in that world, and they thought, those things were okay. They were in and itself kind of brainwashed. So yeah, and he just forgot empathy. There were children there, innocent children, and he forgets that, and creates bombs that hurt a lot of people, which included Prim at the end of the day. Prim was the unfortunate death that happened because of one of Gail's creations. Or he didn't create it, but he definitely helped. It was one of his brainchilds. Helped with is it Beatty? Beatty, I think. So he helped create it, the bomb that killed Prim. So there was no coming back for Gail. Peeta, however, I love Peeta to my very core, but I think he deserves better. I think that man deserves better than Katniss. I think there is no competition here. I mean, obviously Peeta is the better man, but I think that he deserves better than Katniss. Because again, she just showed him conditional love. There was no unconditional about it. It was conditional. So I think he deserved better. For sure. But that is it. That concludes my rant. If you guys have been here for this long, thank you for sticking with me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this rant. And if you guys agree with any of the things I said, if you disagree with any of the things like I said, I'm all about talking things over in the comments, or even DMing me. I love talking about books and just having those discussions. Yeah, just love it. Anyways, that's it, guys. Until next time, read on, my bookish friends.